Welcome to the Gene Policini Center on the campus of the Rochester Institute of Technology, where tonight Hockey That Counts returns after nearly a month-long hiatus. Tonight it's the 77th all-time meeting between RIT and Canisius in the first of a home-and-home series between these two Atlantic hockey rivals. For RIT, the story to begin the new year surrounds the health of this team. The dreaded flu has moved through the locker room, forcing head coach Wayne Wilson to make some lineup changes for tonight. Good evening and Happy New Year. I'm Kevin Roach and welcome to RIT SportZone Pregame Live. We'll have more on those lineup changes and the health of the Tigers in just a bit. But first we begin with a look back to December, and following a rough stretch that saw the Tigers drop 5 of 6, RIT finished off the calendar year with a much-needed sweep of Mercyhurst back in December. After taking Game 1 with the Lakers 7-3, the Tigers jumped on Mercyhurst early in Game 2. Not even 4 minutes in, Jake Hamaker to Elijah Gonsalves to Caleb Moritz. His fourth on the year, it was 1-0 Tigers. After a Tiger power play expired, RIT keeping the pressure on, and it would pay off. Sean Cameron to Jake Hamaker, who knocks it in. Hamaker's 5th on the season, and it was 2-0 RIT, but just over 4 minutes to play. RIT the turnover. Georgi Fedulov takes advantage in all alone on Logan Drackett, and he scores to make it a 1-goal game after 1. Tigers got sent to the box twice in the second period, and midway through it, it cost him as Joseph Maziarzi scores to tie it at 2. But just over 2 minutes to play, Tigers get the turnover, and they make Mercyhurst pay. Will Calverley gets his team leading 8th of the season. Tigers took a 3-2 lead at that point. And how about Logan Drackett holding Mercyhurst scoreless for the final 29 minutes and change? He would pick up his 10th victory on the year as RIT held on for a 3-2 victory over Mercyhurst back on December the 7th. As we look inside the numbers from that game, Logan Drackett 31 saves, including 12 in the third period to record his 7th 30-plus save performance of the season. And how about the sophomore, Will Calverley, who has really started to come on as of late. He had a 4-point weekend against Mercyhurst with 3 goals and 1 assist. He's now the Tigers' leading goal scorer, again with 8 on the year. How about after a 3-week break, the Tigers getting back on the ice this past Sunday for an exhibition against Guelph here at the Policini Center. Guelph led 1-0 after 1, but that would change as Kobe Walker scores to tie us at 1 right there. Then later in the second, it's Adam Brubaker scoring. Tigers were up 2-1 after 2. It stayed that way until late in the third, under 2 minutes to play. Guelph on the power play, and they would score to tie it with just 1:41 remaining, and we would go to overtime. After a scoreless 5-on-5, they played 3-on-3. We finally got to see one this year, and Guelph going the other way with the rush, and Todd Winder scores to seal it up. A nice tune-up for the Tigers as they drop the exhibition, though. 3-2 the final in overtime. So a lot to digest here tonight as the season resumes for the Tigers. For all the answers and much more, we turn to our John DiTullio, who's standing by live now with RIT head coach Wayne Wilson. John?
Kevin, thank you so much. First off, haven't seen you in a while. Happy New Year to you,
Happy
Coach.
New Year to you too. Great.
But I know you've got a lot of guys fighting some sickness, but how is your health, number one?
A little bit earlier in the week, but I lost my voice there before Christmas, so now that I got it back, the refs are happy and my players are happy, I guess.
Well, talk about your players. I know the flu bug hit your dressing room. How will it affect you tonight?
Yeah, we just got to keep our shifts short here and just go from there. I mean, it is what it is. It seems to be going around everywhere, and I think a lot of teams have been affected by it. But we've got to play through it. I mean, it happens every year. This one just is affecting a lot of guys, not just a couple of guys. So we'll go from there.
Well, it's not going to affect any lineup changes for you tonight.
No, it won't. The only guys that are out right now are either hurt or a healthy scratch. So we're ready to go here, and we have no excuses.
And I know assistant head coach Brian Hills will not be with you behind the bench.
Yeah, he's the only casualty tonight. But we didn't even want to submit our lineup until noon today because it's spreading that quick, and some guys are recovering real quick, and other guys are getting it the very next day. So like I said, we've got to move on and be ready for league play here, and we're excited to be back.
New year, new beginnings. You haven't played a regular season game in almost a month. What do you want to see tonight against a team, albeit record may not indicate it, but it's a team that's won 2 in a row coming off a sweep of Holy Cross.
Right. Any team that can sweep anyone in our league is on a roll because they're so hard to come from. So they got to be feeling good about themselves coming in tonight's game, and we're hungry to get going here. I'm glad we played the Canadian team once we got back. I felt better about playing that game and ready to go. So we have a little bit of better idea here, and also gave us a couple extra practices by playing the exhibition game when we did. So we practiced a couple times, played the game, and then we got a full week of practice in before this weekend.
I know they got a top line that's one of the best you maybe faced all year.
Yeah, I really like their top line. Hutchison, Hoover, and Meyer are strong. Stipe back on defense, but they also make their power play go as well, which can also be very dangerous. So that's the line we've got to control. And then really our depth has got to become a factor here tonight, because I really like how we match up us 2 through 4 line-wise. And we'll see how maybe start Will out against Hutchinson's line. We'll see how the game's going. But we want to play a lot in their end and create some offensive opportunities. And we've got to be skating to do that, skating a lot better than we did against Guelph. We've got to get our feet going and pressure pucks and create turnovers for ourselves.
I'm glad you're healthy. Good to see you. Happy New Year, Coach. It should be a fun game tonight for a preview of Canisius. Let's send it over to my broadcasting partner, Gene Battaglia. Gino?
All right, thanks, Johnny. I'm here with head coach Trevor Large. Now, RIT a little under the weather. How are you guys health-wise, injury-wise tonight?
We're doing okay. I mean, I think we're getting healthier. I think the same thing happens around Christmas time is guys go home, they deal with a little bit of flu. We have a couple of those, but we have some guys that are getting healthy, so that's nice for a change.
Now, you used to say 4-point weekend. Now you could say a 6-point weekend. What did that weekend against Holy Cross do for your program?
It's a confidence builder. I think our guys have been playing really well of late and really haven't got rewarded with any points. Last weekend was a little bit different. I thought we played really well game 1 and came away with 3 points. And then I thought we played just okay game 2, which was a Sunday. But we had our power play was great, Hutchison was great, and Barczewski was unbelievable. So that secured 6 points for us, which was a great weekend for us.
Yeah, head coach Wayne Wilson was just talking about Nick Hutchinson and that line. And with Billy McLaughlin leaving the program, so many years seeing him come in here and doing his thing, what has Hutchinson done stepping into that role?
He's a confident hockey player. He believes in himself. He's found some chemistry with Grant Meyer and Matt Hoover right now. 3 guys that have been very good for us since the day they got here. And last weekend was the first time they've all been together and healthy. And hopefully for us, that's a confidence boost for them and for our team. And they can find some chemistry in the second half would be great.
Here we're entering the month of January. Where do you guys think you fit in right now here in Atlantic hockey? Take a big picture look here at the conference.
Yeah, it's a battle. I mean, we didn't have a lot of success in the first half in terms of wins in the conference. Now we're battling, and every weekend, you already talked about 6 points. It can be a big boost for you in the standings when you see that you can jump a team or potentially 2 or 3, and that's our battle right now, is to continue to play well, to be playing our best hockey come playoff time. But we want to battle right now and get ahead of some teams.
Trevor, thank you for your time. Good luck tonight.
Thanks, appreciate it.
Always fun when RIT and Canisius meet. That's head coach Trevor Large as we send it back to you, Kevin.
All right, Gene, thanks so much. We'll see you again in the broadcast in just a little bit. While the Tigers haven't played a conference game since the first weekend in December, others resumed conference play, as we mentioned last weekend, including Sacred Heart, who has been one of the most impressive teams in Atlantic hockey this season, having won 9 of their last 11 games. Pioneers sit atop the league standings right now with 11 victories and 33 points. Army just a point behind in second place, followed by the defending conference champions from AIC. The Yellow Jackets are tied points-wise with Robert Morris at this moment. RIT 10 points out of first place in 5th, but remember, you can gain ground quickly in Atlantic hockey this season, as wins are now worth 3 points each. Well, still to come on the program, we now know where the Tigers will ring in 2021. That story is on the way. Plus, the RIT women's hockey team look to extend its winning streak to 3 this afternoon against visiting Sacred Heart. We'll have the highlights from an excellent game here earlier today at the Policini. But first, He was red hot going into the break. Number 8 for RIT is sophomore forward Will Calverley, the Scarborough, Ontario native, currently the Tigers' top goal scorer, and he'll join the broadcast live next as our coverage of Tiger hockey continues from the Gene Policini Center. It's RIT and Canisius at 7:05. This is RIT SportZone Pregame Live. Back here on Pregame Live, where tonight marks the first of 4 meetings between the Tigers and Golden Griffs this month. Oh, they're going to get to know each other oh so well in January. Elsewhere in Atlantic hockey tonight, only 2 league games as Mercyhurst visits Holy Cross, and AIC is at Air Force later on. In non-conference action, Niagara is at Penn State, and Providence visits Army. Sacred Heart, Bentley, and Robert Morris all have the evening off. In the net for RIT tonight will be number 30, Logan Drackett, the junior from Calgary, has started all 18 games for the Tigers this season, posting a .920 save percentage and a 2.32 goals against average. Logan has been excellent. For Canisius, head coach Trevor Large will stick with freshman Jacob Barcheski, the reigning AHA goaltender of the week, stopped 50 of the 51 shots he faced in last weekend's sweep of Holy Cross. We'll see how he fares tonight. Well, one of the shining stars for this RIT program this season has been forward Will Calverley, who enters the night as the Tigers' leading scorer with 8 goals and 6 assists. The sophomore standing by live now with our Kim Coffey. Good evening, Kim.
Thanks, Kevin. Will, you guys kick off the season, the start of the new year, here at home. After having some time to kind of regroup and rest up a little bit, I know the flu's hit your team pretty hard recently. How are you guys feeling heading into tonight?
We're feeling great. I think the rest is exactly what we needed. We feel confident coming back. We know what we got to do tonight to win, and just got to work hard tonight.
You've had a little bit of time now to analyze that first half of your season. What are some changes that you want to make beginning tonight with Canisius?
We just want to get off to better starts. The starts have been killing us lately. We're really a determined team, and we don't give up easily, but I think if we have better starts, we won't have to battle back all the time.
Canisius has one of the best power plays in the conference. How do you plan to stay out of the box tonight, and is that something you guys have been focusing on in practice?
Yeah, so we got to make sure we stay out of the box. Like you said, great power play. We got to do a good job getting in lanes and using our sticks because they like to move the puck really well, but at the end of the day, we just got to stay out of the box.
Will, you're pushing through it tonight. I heard you cough it a couple times, but good luck tonight, and I hope your team does well.
Thank you.
Kevin, back to you.
Yeah, the Tigers not making any excuses, but a couple of them are dragging a little bit after being hit with the flu earlier this week. Thanks, Kim. Well, if you were immersed in the hustle and bustle of the holiday season, you might have missed a major announcement in December. regarding next year's RIT hockey schedule. The Tigers are heading back outside for a game next season, but you'll have to make a road trip to Ohio to see it. Wayne Wilson's group will face his alma mater, Bowling Green, in an outdoor game in Toledo on January 2nd of next year. It'll mark RIT's first outdoor game since the Frozen Frontier when they faced Niagara in 2014. Oh, what a night that was. Women's hockey this afternoon, RIT hosting Sacred Heart. Second period, Samantha Shoebottom to Kelly Zolak, who nets her fourth of the season. Tigers in a 2-0 hole after two, but this team has been resilient all year long, and they showed exactly why they have been in the third as Ellie Larson scores to make it a one-goal game. For Larson, her first goal on the year, and it seemed to spark this team because under 4 minutes later, Jamie Nolan scores the equalizer in the slot, number 7 on the season for Nolan. We'd go to overtime. In overtime, off the face-off, Nolan, she's going to strike again. The deflection and the game winner. What a comeback for RIT as they win their third straight game. They were down 2-0. They rally to win it today, 3-2 in overtime over Sacred Heart. Now the Tigers and Pioneers will wrap up their two-game series right here at the Gene Policini Center tomorrow afternoon. Face-off comes up at 2 o'clock. Remember, the men are on the road at Canisius, so the only game here tomorrow afternoon is the women's contest. You can get your seats now by visiting RITtickets.com. Should be another good one tomorrow afternoon. College basketball, RIT hosting Alfred State yesterday at the Clark Gym. Second half, Tigers down by 6 when they rally from beyond the arc. Will Atkinson hits the three from the corner. Tigers within 3. Next trip down the floor, shot clock winding down, and Keegan O'Kerr is going to answer. And he's going to knock down the open 3 to tie us up at 51. Tigers Alfred State went back and forth all the way to the finish. Watch Chuck Okeehe finishing strong here in the lane. The layup for 2. He had 10 points. We're tied again at 55 after an RIT turnover and 10 seconds to play. Ryan Gentile down low for the bucket and the foul. That was the difference. He had 17. He would make the free throw. Alfred State hangs on for the 60-58 victory over the Tigers. Tigers get back to league play in the Liberty League next Friday and Saturday here on campus. Well, still to come on the program, RIT assistant coach David Salako will join us to break down tonight's matchup. Plus, we'll look back on one of the more controversial endings between these two programs. That's next on the home of Tiger hockey. This is RIT SportZone Pregame Live.
swinging it over. McKay's shot. Scores! That's how you answer. It's now 3-2.
Couldn't tell if that was redirected in front. Just get it to the net. What if somebody got their stick on that and able to solve the Canisius goalie this time in her batting? There's App with it near the blue line. McKay gonna pinch a little bit, just throw it. Let's see if it gets redirected there. And a lot of traffic in front.
Here with 11:18 remaining this game. Tigers another opportunity in front. Cameron scores! We are tied! Six and a half to go here. Into the zone. McLaughlin leaving it there. Shot and goal! It's McLaughlin setting up Jeff Murray. Murray giving Canisius the lead. Canisius defense is gassed. Scores! Brubaker from the blue line. We're tied at 4. McLaughlin now bringing it in. Ooh, looked like Schmelzer was offside on that play, but the play will continue on. Puck in front. McLaughlin going in, and they score. They count it. John, I'm telling you that play was offside. All right, let's see it. Let's see.
Top of your screen. Ooh,
He's offside!
He's offside.
Oh!
Gino,
the Tigers lose a tough one.
Oh, a tough one for the Tigers. The fans remember it well. Canisius RIT series dating all the way back to the 80s. These two schools have met 76 times over the years, but since RIT moved to Division I, Tigers hold a record of 23-16-1, although the Griffs have won 7 of the last 10. Both schools have represented Atlantic hockey in the NCAA tournament after winning the league's automatic bid. The Griffs' one and only title came back in 2013. As we welcome you back inside the Gene Policini Center, where you're watching RIT SportZone Pregame Live, presented by Taylor the Builders. Joined now by Gene Battaglia and John DiTullio. And guys, Canisius has struggled this season. They're a young team and only 3 wins in 10 conference games. Despite not being 100% maybe here tonight, the Tigers, this is a game RIT needs to find a way to win, to pick up some ground on the likes of Sacred Heart and Army, who have created a little bit of distance atop the league standings.
Yeah, 2020 begins with a conference game. Kevin, Happy New Year to you. Happy New Year to
Partner,
you, John.
Happy New Year to you.
Yeah.
Great call, by the way, 2 years ago. Scolded the officials. I loved it.
Still offside on
It was
that.
great,
I'm not
buddy.
over that one.
Yes.
Assistant coach David Salako joining us ringside. First of all, Dave, are you healthy? How are you feeling tonight?
I'm feeling great tonight, ready to go.
So you look at this Canisius team here. Well, talk about the challenge of going up against that line tonight, Nick Hutchinson.
That line of Hoover, Hutchinson, and Meyer is tremendous. They're probably one of the best lines in our league. They're really dynamic on the power play, so we're going to have our hands full against them.
Dave, how much, a lot of your players were ill this week. How does that affect your lines tonight, and how does it affect maybe your play tonight?
I don't know how it's going to affect our play. We're going to find out here in the next 10 to 15 minutes, but we just shortened things up. Rest and energy was a priority for us. We went really short yesterday, so we have no excuses. We got to go out and just play.
Dave, it's an opportunity for one of the players we haven't seen, not at least up until that exhibition game, in Merritt Ozitko. Can you give us a little bit of a scouting report on this young player for your team?
Merritt has good size, a good skater, good hockey sense. We're looking forward to what he brings to the table tonight. Hopefully, he does a real good job seeing the ice and making plays, so we're going to hopefully get to see some of his speed tonight.
What do you want to see tonight, Dave? You guys haven't played a meaningful game in almost a month. What do you want to see early on from your club?
I want to see a good start. I want to see us stay out of the box. I want to see us play in their end and get after it on the forecheck and try to, keep the puck in the offensive zone as much as possible. They run a 1-1-3 in the neutral zone, so we're going to have time and space on the outside, but we got to do a good job of getting pucks in and then hunting them back down.
All right, Dave, good luck tonight. Go get him. Let's get 2020 off to a good start here.
Thanks, guys.
David Salako, the assistant coach tonight. As John, when we touched on it a little bit, when we're looking at the players to watch tonight, Canisius had a player named Dylan McLaughlin for many, many years.
12 years, I think he played here.
It may be that long,
Yes.
but certainly Nick Hutchinson has stepped into that role on that top line.
He is unbelievable. He has 50 goals. When you look at where he ranks in the country, he's tied for 5th active among Division I players in terms of scoring. He leads them with 8 goals, so keep an eye on number 91. He's a dynamic player.
Now for the RIT Tigers, as we mentioned, everything's a little bit jumbled up tonight. Jake Hamaker is in the lineup. Will Calverley was one of those players a little bit under the weather, but he's going to give it a go tonight.
He's had an incredible year. Most of these players were sick all week. When you look at what he's been able to do, just a sophomore, 8 goals, that leads the Tigers, 14 points in general. He has had a sensational sophomore year. Great two-way player.
As we take a look tonight, Will Calverley will be on that top line. John, what has to happen for the 6-point weekend?
Well, Jado, new year, new beginnings. You've got to carry that momentum from sweeping Merciers. You're in 5th right now in the standings. I think these are 2 huge games to start the calendar year off, right? Clutch Hutch, the guy I'm not talking about Starsky and Hutch, I'm talking about Clutch Hutch. A key is stopping that line. It's trying to stop number 91. And let me tell you, boxed in. The 2 most penalized minutes, number 1 is Canisius, number 2 is RIT, but the Griffs, number 1 in the conference on the power play, 31%. The Tigers, 9th in the penalty kill. So special teams will be a key tonight.
Yeah, this should be a lot of fun. Kevin, it is always a blast when RIT and Canisius meet.
It is, guys, a three-way rivalry. They split last year with RIT winning here in November and Canisius winning here the last game of the season, which forced RIT into the 5th spot, had to go on the road for the playoffs. Should be fun. We look forward to it, seeing you guys again at the top of the hour. We're less than 10 minutes away from face-off between the Tigers and Golden Griffs. We'll wrap things up from here next. You're watching RIT SportZone Pregame Live.
We all have something, a passion to pursue, a theory to prove, a difference to make. We harness creativity to discover meaningful solutions, fueled by innovation, changing ourselves and the world around us. We reside at the intersection of the exceptional and the unconventional. We are a community of curious minds that achieve, make, improve, perfect. At RIT, we're always on to something amazing.
Yeah, the Tigers and Griffs will wrap up this home-and-home series tomorrow night at the Harbor Center in Buffalo, so we won't be back with you until next Friday night when RIT steps out of conference play to host UMass Lowell. Our coverage begins 6:30 with RIT SportZone Pregame Live, presented by Taylor the Builders, followed by Face-Off 7:05 on My 18 and flowhockey.tv. With the students still on break, there are plenty of tickets available for next weekend's series with the Riverhawks. Come on out, join us. Seats as low as $6. You can get them by visiting the Paula City Center box office or online right now at rittickets.com. Well, that'll do it for us. Up next, John and Gene have the call between RIT and Canisius. And we'll see you back here for the intermission report. Until then, enjoy the game. RIT SportZone Live begins now.